Okay, hopefully I'm understanding you that this is the type of problem you're looking for. That it's pretty much all letters. We do have a number right there out front, but we're going to handle that as we go along. What we have here is we've got two terms. Remember, terms are separated by addition or subtraction symbols. So we've only got two here. What we're going to do is look in each term and see what it has in common. So in this one, we're going to look at coefficients first. All GCFs, we look at coefficients first. This one is a 1 and a 3, so we don't really have anything in common there other than a 1, and that doesn't help us. So we're going to ignore that and skip it. So then we got to look at variables. This one has an x, this one has an x, so we know we're going to be able to bring an x on the outside. And I'm going to bring it out here in blue so we know what's going on here. We're going to bring out an x. But we got to know how many x's we can bring out. And the way we do that is we look at the exponents. This one has an exponent of a 2. This one has an exponent of a 5. What we're going to do is we're going to bring out the smallest exponent, which in this case is a 2. So we're going to bring out an x squared. Then we're going to look to our next variable. So we've looked at x's. Now we're going to look at the y's. They both have a y. So again, I'm going to bring down a y. Let's change color again. Let's call this green here. So that's y. Then I'm going to look at my exponents again. I'm going to pull out the smallest exponent. In this case, I've got a 3 and a 2, so that 2 is the small one. So I'm going to bring down a 2 again, just because it happens to be the smallest. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my parentheses, because if you look in my terms, I'm out of things to compare. The coefficients, they didn't have anything, so I don't have to bring it out. I got my x's, I got my y's brought out, and there's nothing left. So now, what I have to do is I have to treat this like I took these terms right here, like I took those out. So this first one here, I've got, hang on a second. Sorry, what we've got here, we have no coefficient out front, so there's nothing to bring down there. I had 2 x's, but I took 2 x's out, so I don't have any x's left to put here. So I'm actually not going to have any x's there. What I'm going to do here, I have 3 y's, and I took out 2 y's. Say 3 with my exponent. I took out 2 of those, so I'm just going to have 1 y left. So that goes out front. I didn't do anything to change my sign, so I'm going to bring it down. I didn't do anything to change that 3, so I'm going to bring it down. Then I look at my x's. I had 5, and I took out 2 of them. So now I've got 3 left, so x to the third. And then I had 2 y's, but I took 2 y's out, so that's it. This right here would be my answer. All right, let's do another one. To do to change my sign. Oh, sorry about that. All right, look at this example here. Again, what we're going to have, we're going to take it one piece at a time. We're going to look at coefficients first. So I'm looking at 7 and negative 14 there. If 7 were also negative, I'd want to pull out the negative if they were both negative. But since only one of them's negative, I'm not going to bother with that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, does anything go into 7 and 14 equally? And in this case, 7 does. So I'm going to bring a 7 on the outside. I'm going to go to my next one. I'm going to look at x. I have an x there, and I have an x here. So they both have an x, so I can bring out an x. And I'm going to bring it out in blue like I did last time. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my exponents. So this one I got a 5. This one I got an 8. The 5 is smaller, so I'm going to bring that one down. All right. Then I look at my next variable, which is a y. So I have a y here, but I actually have a z over here. I don't have a y. Since they don't both have a y, I can't bring it out. Same thing with this z over here. They don't both have a z, so I can't bring it as part of the greatest common factor either. So what that means is since I've checked all my terms and there's nothing else in common to bring out, that's going to be my GCF. Now what I have to do is I've got to take that out of it. So remember, GCF is what we're winding up pulling out. So I've got 7 there. I divide that up by 7. I get a 1 out front. I don't have to write the 1. I'm going to put it there so you know where my numbers went. So there was a 1. I don't have to put this though. I have my x. So I've got x to the 5th. But I took out an x to the 5th. So I don't have any x's left. I had a y to the 3rd. I didn't take out any y's, so I still have a y to the 3rd. Nothing to do to change my sign up here. So I'm going to bring that minus sign down. Then I have 14. So I'm doing 14 divided by 7. And that's what you got to do with numbers, is you got to see what divides evenly into both of those. So be careful with it. It's not like the exponent, so we just took those out. So this one's negative 14 divided by 7, which is negative 2. And then I'll look at my x. I got an x to the 8th, but I took out 5 of them. So that gives me 3 x's left. So I have an x to the 3rd. Then I have a z to the 3rd, but I didn't take out any z's. So I'm going to bring that z straight down. And I get z, try again. Z to the 3rd, like that. And that would be my final answer. All right. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea what you're working through there. Anytime you've got variables, you're just seeing what every term has in common. Actually, let me throw one more at you in case, because I can't remember if I included any with more than 2 terms. Hang on. All right, so just in case, I can't remember if I gave you ones with multiple, more than 2 terms or not. I don't think I did, but just in case. Still, the same thing applies going through here. I'm going to take it one piece at a time, look at my coefficients. In this case, I've got coefficients. If I didn't have any coefficients, I just skip straight to the first letter. But if I've got them, I check those. So 2, 6, and negative 10. Again, if they were all negative, I'd want to take out a negative 2. But since they're not, I'm just going to see what goes into all of those. And 2 is the only thing that goes into all of those. Then I'm going to go to my next thing, and I've got an x here. So I got an x in this term, x in this term, x in this term. So I have one in all 3, so I can bring an x out. So I'm going to do that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the smallest exponent. So I got a 2 on this one, a 5 on this one, and a 4 on this one. So that 2 is what's going to get brought down. Then I go to my next one. I got a y. So I got a y in this term, a y in that term, a y in that term. I get to bring a y down. So y. Again, I'm going to look at the smallest exponent. So I got a 1 on that one, a 2 on that one, and a 4 on that one. So the 1 is what gets brought down. So I'll leave that there. And then I go and I look, I have a z here. So I've got a z in this term and a z in this term, but no z in this term. That means I can't bring the z down because this term right here doesn't have it. So that means I'm done with my GCF. I'm going to bring my set of parentheses here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that out. So 2 divided by 2 gets me 1. I don't have to write the 1, but I'm writing it in there so you know where these numbers came from. I had an x squared, but I took out an x squared, which means I don't have any x's left. I got a y, I took out a y, so I don't have any y's left. So in this case, I actually do wind up needing this 1 because that term can't disappear. So I actually do wind up having to have 1 on that one. All right. That's the only time you need a 1 is if the whole term would disappear. I can't have a term disappear. So I go to my next term here. I do 6 divided by 2, which is 3. I have my x. I have a 5. I took 2 of them out, so that gives me x to the 3rd. I had a y squared, and I took out a y. So I had 2, and I took out 1, so I'm just left with a y. And then I had a z, but I didn't take any z's out, so I still have a z. I've got negative 10 divided by 2. That gets me negative 5. I had 4 x's. I took out 2 of them, so I'm still left with 2 x's. I had 4 y's. I took out 1 of them, so I'm still left with 3 y's. And I had a z. I didn't take out any z's, so I still have that z. So that would be my final answer on that one. All right. Hopefully that helps out. If not, let me know, and I'll make another video, or I'll find one, or I'll do whatever I need to help you out on that. All right. I hope you've been doing good. Take care.